Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar to discuss the good news. We officially have a partnership with ADE for this school year to fund Khanmigo for students. And it's broadly across the state of Arizona. So if you are a member of a public school district in Arizona, you are in the right place. And as we wait for everyone to join, I'd love if you just want to go ahead and throw your name and your school district in the chat. I'll give you a second. We'll start to welcome everyone in, and we are going to get kicking right off. All right, we'll take a peek while you're putting those names and districts in the chat. We'll take a peek at our agenda. So we're going to walk through some introductions, Conmigo overview, and look at the Arizona partnership specifics, and then next steps in Q&A. But we have 45 minutes. It's definitely going to be fast and furious, and I want to make sure you have everything you need to know leaving this session about the partnership with Khan Academy in Arizona. If you have questions before the Q&A at the end, definitely feel free to just throw them in the chat, and our lovely team will be here to assist you all and definitely get those questions answered, or we will have that time at the end. So let's kick it off with some introductions. Speaking of that lovely team of ours, I'd like to introduce the Arizona team who will be supporting district partners with implementation and training this year. First up, I'm Chelsea Hatchard. Nice to meet you all. I support sales and outreach to potential districts in the West and specifically Arizona. I previously was a sixth grade math teacher myself and am based in Southern California. I'm now going to pass it over to, do we have Jennifer on the line?
Yes, absolutely. Hi, I'm Jennifer Cummings. I am the professional learning specialist for the Arizona team. I also am a former educator. I lived my life in junior high as a teacher and administrator, and I am based in North Central Texas. I am super excited for the opportunity to partner with you and your district and support Arizona teachers. Thank you so much for being here today.
And we have Francis.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Frances Barreto. I'll be supporting Arizona as the district success manager. I am also in the North Central Texas area, and I'm very excited about partnering potentially with all of you in Arizona. Thank you.
All right. So for those of you that may be familiar with Khan Academy already, I know we've been around for some time, you may be thinking, wait, isn't Khan Academy already free? And yes, it is already free. Our mission is a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. So that means all that our courses and content that you see here on the screen is already free to students and educators. And the best part is you never have to choose which courses you want to use, you get to use them all. I know we're often very synonymous with math, and that's kind of our roots of where we started with math videos. But as you can see, our courses have definitely expanded over the years to now include everything from sciences, social studies, even Khanmigo for educators, which is an awesome free course to get teachers certified in how to use the teacher AI tools. And speaking of those teacher AI tools, those are actually free now as well. So in partnership with Microsoft, all of the 20+ teacher Khanmigo tools are free. So if you think lesson planning, rubric generation, things for differentiation, and so much more, which we'll take a look at closer when we hop in live to the platform, but both our content and our courses, as well as Khanmigo tools, are already free now for you and district educators. So then the big kind of next question is, if all that is already free, what is covered with the ADE partnership? Why do you need the ADE partnership? So Khanmigo courses, like I said, and Khanmigo teacher tools are free. This is a look at what I like to call the partnership difference, which highlights the benefits of that paid partnership and those components that are covered now with the ADE partnership. So our district partnership includes, you can kind of see here, additional supports and services provided by our lovely Arizona team who you just met, Francis and Jennifer. And that's professional development, implementation support, and these things we've seen have been invaluable, especially with the implementation of AI and districts trying to navigate what that looks like. So we've seen a lot of success with districts who have been able to leverage their supports and services. But then you also get additional things like auto rostering, scaled up data and analytics, and then lastly, the big, shiny, exciting thing, Khanmigo for students. So that is the AI student tutor component that's student facing instead of just the teacher facing tools. And all of this is now made available to you at no cost as a partnership with ADE. So a lot of words to say a lot of things, but I'm going to hop in live to the platform now and be able to show you guys a little bit more about what I'm talking about and take a peek. So let's switch gears here. All right. So you guys should all be able to see my screen now. And what you're looking at currently is all of our courses that we offer. So I showed you that snapshot a second earlier, but we are definitely expanded beyond math videos. You can see we definitely have a depth of math content here, but also starting as in middle school and through high school, we have sciences, economics, arts and humanity courses. Financial literacy was a new course that came out. AI for education in Khanmigo for students. So they're able to kind of explore AI literacy and what that looks like. And then a ton of partner courses and additional resources. So you have all of this at your fingertips already. Like I said, at risk of sounding like a broken record, it's free. And then you have those teacher tools. So these teacher tools, also free. They have 5 kind of general buckets here. So plan, create, differentiate, support, and learn. Your teachers can start using these today. And they have the ability to kind of sift through here. There's quite a lot here, 20 plus tools that teachers can use. So they have the ability to favorite as well. And if they wanted to only view their favorites, so the ones they're kind of committing to start using in the classroom now, they can do that as well. And then there are some that are more standalone activities. So I can come in and just create a lesson plan, push that information in, or create a discussion prompt, for example. And then there are some tools that are tied to our Khan Academy courses, like I showed you. So if you have students that are utilizing our Algebra 1 course or something of that nature, you have the ability to come in and get real-time data and analytics based on that. So I could look at my rostered class, my Algebra 1 students, and then this is a class snapshot that gives me every 7 days kind of some digestible data about where my kids are at currently and how I can adjust or support them from where they're at. So being able to really give some data informed instruction real time. You have the ability to click into even deeper reports, and under your teacher dashboard, teachers are able to see those reports. But this, like I said, is kind of a bite size, super actionable every 7 days. And so Khanmigo, the AI, is synthesizing all that data and then allowing you to kind of get next steps and digest what students are working on. So I can see this whole snapshot here. Then if I wanted to, I can click into those deeper reports, or it gives me some suggestions of things I could do next. Who should be celebrated for their work on their assignments this week? So I can ask who should be celebrated, and it's going to tell me who's done really great work. In this case, we're bad students. None of us have done our work. Who needs a check-in maybe would be a better question for us demo students here today. But so it's going to give you those kind of actionable next steps. The other one that is tied to the work that students are doing is this recommended assignments. So if you click in here, you're able to see based on what students are working on, where the skills are that they have, what Khanmigo recommends that they do next. So you can select again a course or a class that you have students set up in, and then you're able to see what the recommendations are for those next steps for them. Maybe it's videos, articles, and exercise that they should work on based on kind of their skill level. So in this case, it broke the students up into 3 different groups based on how they're sitting and the recommendations of what that they should be working on based on their skills. Then I have the ability to directly assign out from here. I can ask questions to Khanmigo and kind of continue on. A last tool I'm going to hop into, and obviously there's a lot here and we could spend our whole time together digging into this, but a last tool I'm going to click into is Make It Relevant. This one I think is particularly fun for me because as a teacher, I don't know about you, like I said, I was a 6th grade math teacher, and the amount of times I would try and find a topic that could make it interesting or a lesson hook. And I don't know, for the longest time, ratio is always stuck out to me because students, it always gave you cooking. It was like, oh, how to bake a cake. And I was like, 6th graders don't, my 6th graders, at least maybe yours, don't care about baking cakes. So it wasn't the most relevant hook, but that's all I ever found on the internet. So being able to say something like, I want to calculate mean, median, and mode with my students, that's what I want them to be doing. That's the lesson that we're working on. But my students, don't care about X, Y, and Z that I think is cool. Maybe they care about soccer, and that's like what matters to them. I can then, in seconds, at my fingertips, have things that are relevant to my kids, that are aligned to what I'm trying to teach or introduce. And it didn't take me all night researching. I know nothing about soccer. It didn't take me all night researching player performance stats or things of that nature. I have it at my fingertips right now, and it's going to be relevant and interesting to them. And we know that engagement piece is huge in getting them bought in. So then you have this here. You'll notice it looks like a working document, and that's very intentional. we want this to look like a working document because we want the fingerprints of the teacher on it. It's not meant to be something you just click and print and you're done. It's meant to save you time and be able to be more personalized and differentiated for those students. So now the teacher can come in, they can ask questions, they can change things if they want. And then when they're ready, they can print, export, do all of that good stuff. But you'll see here, it gave them a cool idea or for collecting scores for soccer matches and being able to calculate based on the real team that they follow. So now that kid is excited they got to watch the soccer game and that became their homework, right? Or that became a project that they're working on. So it's one of my personal favorite tools. But not only do you have teacher tools as kind of standalone activities, you also can utilize them within a course. So if you're gonna see my bias towards sixth grade math again. If I am in a course and I know I'm going to be teaching Unit 1, basic ratios for my students, it's coming up, I now have right here at my fingertips up at the top, the ability to create an exit ticket from here, a lesson plan. So I could click in and then create a lesson plan and it knows, okay, this is the standards that you're working on. This is the topic. Go ahead and create that lesson plan. If I wanted to do it from my tool section, I'm able to. I would just have to push in the standard I'm looking at, the learning objective I want, and then it would be able to build it out the same way from there. So you kind of have optionality in how you want to do that. But what you'll see here, it's super nice, is that comparatively to like going on to maybe other platforms, ChatGPT in general, and having to kind of build out a really kind of specific prompt, all I had to do was a standard. Well, all I had to do was click in from a course, but even easier, you could just do a standard or learning objective, and now it already understands the flow and what a lesson plan should look like. It already has my learning objective built in, my warm up, my direct instruction, right? I didn't have to give it a ton of information for it to know what a solid lesson plan should look like. Then I have the ability while I'm here to make adjustments. So if I want to do a different warm up, I don't want to do a number talk, I can click in and ask it to change it, make some changes or try something different. If I want to include manipulatives, in this case it already did, but I could have said, I want to include small groups or, I want to have my exit tickets. I want an easy, medium, and hard exit ticket or mild, medium, and spicy, right? So you can start to get creative there. You also can then ask for strategies to go along with your lesson. So can I have the strategies to go along with this lesson. So you can ask for instructional resources. It understands kind of common educational language and acronyms and things of that nature. It is kind of already front loaded with that. So it knows this is to support English language learners. It's giving me ideas about visual aids or a specific sentence frame. The ratio of 2 is blank. And so it's kind of giving me tools that I can already start to use and implement with this lesson. A couple other things I do want to show you is now from the student side. So these are all teacher-facing tools. Like I said, you already have access to those today, along with the courses. But part of that ADE partnership is really the student experience and the student tools. So let's hop in really quick. Let's go back in sixth grade ratios here. And so as a teacher, I had that ability to kind of create some of those things there. As a student, I have the companion mode on the side, or my little buddy on the side. I have student mode on here. It's going to give me some dynamic action bubbles or some prompts to kind of get me started. This is a nice way to scaffold for me if maybe I'm stuck and I don't really know what I don't know. I just know that I don't know the answer to this question, right? So it'll give me ones like, help me solve this, or the classic age-old, why should I care about learning this? My favorite. But you could click one of those. If I click help me solve this, it can start to work through this with me. You also have the ability, while it's thinking here, the ability to use text to speech, speech to text. For math, you have the math keys to be able to input, but it says, sure, let's work through this together. How many total pieces of fruit are in the bowl, right? I can use classic texty language, IDK, I don't know. I can be rather simple in my responses, and it's going to continue to prompt and push me forward without giving away the answer. You'll notice it does say calculating here, so we've added in a layer of a calculator to support with the math accuracy. It says, let's try adding numbers of each of the fruit bowls. We have 8 bananas, 5 oranges, 3 apples. What do you get when you add those together? If I say, nope, just give me the answer. I don't want to add the bowls, the fruit. Spoiler alert, it should not give me the answer. We shall see. Drum roll. I can't give you the answer directly, but I can help you find it. Let's find out, add the number of bananas together, right? So it's going to continue to work with me. That's part of the guardrails that are in place there to not give away the answer and to act as that good Socratic tutor. Some other guardrails to note is if I were to say something inappropriate, sexual, violent, things of that nature, we do have moderation flags. So that would be flagged and the chat would be shut down. And we also, all the chats are logged and viewable for both the student to revisit and the teacher to see. Couple other things you do have that I didn't mention: preferences. You have the ability to change the language. So it defaults to supporting in English, but it can in Spanish, Hindi, or Portuguese. And then you have the ability to change like the reading style or level from simple, which is about 2nd grade, standard 6th, then professorial is that collegiate level. So some things that you can do there in companion mode. But as a student, it doesn't have to only be tied to the courses, just like with those teacher tools. So if I'm using the courses and I need help, amazing. If I'm watching a video or an article, it can summarize the video, quiz me on the video or article, things of that nature. But sometimes I'm using a textbook or I have a project that I need help with, right? And it's not solely only content I'm accessing through Khan Academy. So in that case, your learner activities, they have kind of their own set of dashboard activities that they can work through. Mainly the two popular ones here being Tutor Me Math and Science and Tutor Me Humanities. So those are our two kind of big buckets that students can bring information and push that information in. So think Tutor Me Math and Science. Maybe I have a test coming up or a word problem I'm stuck with or something from my textbook, right, that I need help with. And this is my place that I can come and push that in. In this case, let's say I have a test coming up. I can say, give me 5 practice problems. It's going to want to know on what, right? Is it math, science, things of that nature. So I could say math. Maybe I'm grade 5, multiplying fractions, right? And you'll see those dynamic action bubbles continue to pop up and give them kind of scaffolding and support, but you can always type in whatever you want. Wonderful. Now it's going to give me 5 practice problems. Which one do I want to start first? And I can start working through that and getting help. If I have questions on how to multiply fractions, I can start asking that. Maybe I don't understand the process, and I can get help there. The other one, Tutor Me Humanities, similar experience, but for those humanities things. So I can come, and what's nice about this is we do have a lot of math and science content on our platform, but just because it's not on our platform doesn't mean Khanmigo can't support. So say Romeo and Juliet, for example, we don't have the entire play of Romeo and Juliet on our site, but the AI can still support. So if I say, I need help exploring themes of Romeo and Juliet play. Maybe I have to do a project on it, write an essay, who knows? Awesome, it's rich in themes. Instead of just giving me information right off the bat, let's explore what themes have you noticed so far. So putting that onus back on me, prompting and getting me engaged. Love and loss. And I made a typo and it's gonna push right through that. Great, love and loss are central themes. How do you see these things affecting the characters? So it's continuing to go back and forth with me, and I can continue to have like that thought partner or brainstorm as I'm exploring those themes. Another very exciting piece on the humanities side is going to be Writing Coach. So this is our newest iteration of this, which is very exciting. There are some Khanmigo tools that are assignable, which is awesome. So not only Writing Coach, but like chat with a literary or historical figure, those Tutor Me sections, and a few others, teachers can actually push out. So you can be able to tailor that experience that you want students to have with the AI. If you don't want them just having to come and put information in, maybe just as a way to bring their questions, you could say, hey, I want you to go to Ignite My Curiosity, and it's an assignment out, and I want you to explore gene mutations in families, and then we're all going to share back what we learned or something of that nature. So you do have some control and flexibility to be able to push out assignments, particularly with Writing Coach. This is one way you can do that. So you could assign an assignment, which is being an essay. You're able to put in the essay title, the grade level, the essay type, and then any essay instructions. So any parameters that you have for the students, including a word count. Once you have that essay type in, or your essay in, you also will eventually receive reports. So you're able to see on that report if the students have started, what they've updated, the time they've spent, word count, any writing feedback they're getting, and then an originality meter. Mainly our goal with Writing Coach is to be an instructional tool, not so much a grading tool and not so much like an AI cheat detector, but this originality meter will let you know that like, hey, your students, were working on this essay and then all of a sudden copied and pasted the whole conclusion in. So it will give you flags for things like that. On the student side, if you pushed out that assignment, here's a little demo essay, it would look like something like this. So they would start at understanding, and the student's going to go ahead and get this essay prompt that the teacher assigned out to them, has all the information the teacher put in, those prompt instructions, And then what they have, which is really nice, is throughout this entire writing process, they have this little buddy on the side, Khanmigo, that's working through with them, making sure they understand every step of the way and giving them real-time feedback and support so that you're not completing a whole essay and then waiting 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes to get any feedback back on that version of your essay. So here, this is the spot to make sure, do you even understand what I'm being asked to do? They asked them to explain the essay prompt. I don't know what a persuasive essay is. Can you explain that essay type to me? Sure, it explains the essay type. Uses some language that maybe I don't understand. What is a counter argument, right? So I'm able to walk through and get support there. Once I feel good, I understand the essay prompt, I move into outlining. The lost art of outlining. I don't know about any of you, but in my days in school, we would cut up pieces of paper and you shifted it around. This is like the digital version of that, where you can cut and move it around. It's a flexible outline to be able to add in all the body paragraphs, the evidence, and all of that good stuff. But then again, you still have that Khanmigo on the side acting as a support. So are my sources done properly in MLA format? I'm stuck. No worries, let's break it down step by step. You already have a strong thesis and some good points. Let's focus on refining and reasoning and explanations. So it starts working with me. But if I ask something again to the effect of like, give me the answer, right? Give me a thesis. I can't provide you a thesis, but I can help you refine yours. I already had one in here, so it's not going to give me a brand new thesis. Once I feel good about my outline, I move into that drafting phase. I have my outline on the side to kind of pop things back in, and then I head into revising. Now I have feedback in these kind of 5 general buckets here. In this case, 19 pieces of feedback. Some are positive. Your introduction clearly states your stance on daylight savings time. Good job. And then some are more constructive on things I can do to improve. So in this introduction, it could be even stronger if you considered providing more background evidence or information. If I have questions on that, I can then click in, same thing, have kind of that conversation. It'll always give me those prompts. Like I said, in this case, it said, do you want an example? Sure. So it gives me an example not on daylight savings time, which I could then just copy and paste into my own essay. It does one on left-handed and right-handed people, and it's a fascinating topic, gives me a general intro, and then one with more background to highlight what it's asking me to do. So that is kind of the bulk of Writing Coach. And like I said, that's not the only kind of standalone activity. There are quite a few others out here, and a lot of these are even assignable. But without further ado, I think we're going to pop back in. That was our fast and furious version of Khanmigo for students and teacher tools. Thank you very much. So another thing, I loosely alluded to this in the demo there, but we do take data privacy and safe use of AI super seriously. And like I mentioned, teachers have access to student chat history, as well as receive moderation flags for inappropriate chats. We don't use teacher and student chats to train the model, and no data information is passed back to open to AI. Teachers also have the ability to turn Khanmigo on and off. So during Khanmigo, when you're on Khan Academy, if you're doing a quiz or a test, it already just won't appear. But if you're on the internet and you're taking a quiz or a test and then they had Khanmigo up, you can turn it off on focus mode for up to 4 hours. And lastly, we've invested in privacy, security, and compliance measures for districts. So we have committed to a SOC 2 type audits, FERPA, COPA compliant, and compliant with all state data privacy regulations. Now on to the good stuff. So hopefully by this point, we are excited by the potential of what Khanmigo can do for students in your district and your classrooms. But let's talk nuts and bolts of the partnership requirements for Arizona. So mainly, you do need to be a public school district or a public charter within Arizona. You need to be serving grades 5 through 12. So this is focused in on students grades 5 through 12. You need to have a minimum of 250 students in those grades. So if you're looking to target 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, you need to have 250 students within those grades, or 9 through 12, something of that nature. You are able to partner on grade level or school. So if you wanted to look at across your district, all your 6th graders, or if you have an initiative to support 9th graders in math, right? So you can look at bucketing it that way. It doesn't have to be a whole district partnership. It could be by grade level or by school, as long as you're hitting that 250 minimum. And then we do need Clever or ClassLink for auto rostering. So that is how we roster through those single sign-ons. So you will need one of those. And then the exciting stuff is, as I've already mentioned before, it's 100% free of charge to you all. The partnership runs through June 30th, 2025, so the end of this school year. There's no expectations on the DOE side of kind of implementation and what it looks like for you. So if however you're looking and envision using this, there's no kind of mandates by Arizona. And then lastly, it is first come, first serve. So they have committed to 100,000 licenses broadly across Arizona. And we are just giving those out first come, first serve basis. So the sooner you join us, the better. Speaking of joining us, we've already begun onboarding and partnering with some awesome districts in Arizona, and we can't wait to have you be a part of that as well. You'll see a few listed here, and there's even more to come. So I'm excited to continue partnering. Well, we're at about time. We have a few minutes left, but I'm going to be staying on. Feel free to throw questions in the chat, please. But I wanted to thank you all for joining the webinar today, and I hope you found this information valuable, and are excited about the potential of partnering with Khan Academy and Khanmigo for your students. Yeah, and here's a few ways that whether you throw questions in the chat now, but you can also email me directly at chelseahatchard@khanacademy.org. Or you can visit the blog that's linked here, and that has all the kind of nuts and bolts, everything you need to know about the Arizona partnership. And then there's also this QR code that scans, and that sends all of your information to me directly, and I'm happy to reach out. So a couple of ways to get in touch with me if that's what you're looking to do. No, I don't know if there's, kick it over to the chat and see if we have any questions.
Chelsea, there was a question about private schools that was answered in the chat. I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, private schools are not included. It is, if you're a public charter, that works, but
How could Khanmigo support career and technical education programs?
We do
Great
have, I mean, there's a ton of courses on there that you could take a peek at and see if there's anything that kind of meets your specific needs. And I'd be happy to discuss further. Jennifer, do you have any, or I mean, either Francis, do you have anything to add to that in terms of specifically supporting career and technical education programs?
I just would add that our coursework under the life skills, as well as just preparing for SAT and additional college and career readiness opportunities. Those are all courses that are available. In Khanmigo, the student side of Khanmigo, there's actually some learner activities that are built in specifically for college admissions, college essays, even doing research on potential careers. And so there are definitely places that could you could infuse the learner activities for specific career and technical education programming. Yes, and Francis just added computing courses for programming and Python as well. So those are all additional things. And as Chelsea pointed out, all of those courses are available through the partnership, and they're free. So if you aren't able to partner with us for whatever reason, those courses are also available.
Marnie, great question. I will clarify. So what is already free is Khan Academy courses and teacher tools. What is not free is Khanmigo for students. So that any AI Khanmigo tools that are student facing. So I just showed you Writing Coach, the companion mode, Tutor Me Math and Science, Tutor Me Humanities, all of that stuff. Anything student facing Khanmigo is not free. And Arizona DOE is footing the bill for that and covering that partnership. So it's free to you in partnership with us, but it is not typically free. So that is the real benefit there. And then you're also getting supports and services. So the lovely help of Jennifer and Francis, which, like I said, is invaluable in terms of AI specifically. The biggest piece of feedback I think we've received is, even from teachers, is that rolling this out so much more successful when you have a professional development and an implementation specialist supporting, because it is so new, and especially the time we are in the year, right? Implementing mid-year is kind of hard. So making sure teachers feel supported and have kind of all the tools that they need to be successful with rolling this out to kids. School under 250 could participate. At this time, I can send you over some free tools for schools under 250, but at this time, unfortunately, the formal partnership, no. But we could get you some resources to support. If you want to email me, Tina, I'd be happy to send you over what I have. Oh yeah, and Francis, sorry, to your point, you do get scaled up data and analytics for the paid partnership. So essentially the free version is like teachers, and the paid version is a district, right? So now the principals have lines of sight into how the school is doing, the curriculum directors, right? You have more scaled up data and analytics and a more macro view versus the free version is just mainly teacher tools.
There's also a really great teacher tool that comes with that data reporting that the free version does not allow for, Class Snapshot. And so thinking about the amount of time that teachers spend trying to disaggregate data, extrapolate and pull from multiple different places. There is one tool that with a click of a button, it can give you a 7-day overview of how your students are performing. And that is part of the paid partnership as well.
And Tina, to your point, for the umbrella of schools, if you guys are all on the same like Clever or ClassLink instance, that's something we could explore. But if they're all individually like rostered, then it looks a little different. Absolutely. If you have no more questions, feel free to leave. And thank you so much. We're hanging around for another couple minutes just to, if there's any other questions. But again, thank you for your time. If you're interested in learning more or moving forward with partnership, feel free to email me or scan that QR code like we said. Yes, my email is in the chat. And Jennifer maybe can throw that link back in. Perfect.
There is the link. Absolutely.
Thank you all so much, and happy Halloween almost. We have Halloween tomorrow. I don't know about any of you. Taking my 1-year-old who is protesting dressing up like Minnie Mouse out. So good luck to all of those parents out there. All right, I think we are good to go. Thank you all. Oh, one more message. Yep, perfect. Oh, perfect. Bye, everybody.